Good morning. Good morning. We are doing some stuff today around compression. I've been talking with my friend and colleague Trent, who I trade with bodywork, and he is so talented. He's really brilliant at working with fascia. And you guys have heard me talk about fascia, but I'll repeat just a little on principle of what it is and where. So our fascia is this very thin layer that is between the skin and the muscle. So if you look at like a chicken thigh or a chicken leg or whatever, and you were to take the nubbly part of the skin away, there's that white kind of layer, very thin, almost filament. That's fascia. And we have a layer of it contiguous over our entire body, including over our scalp and the feet. So it's a contiguous piece of fabric. And, you know, if you think about like how, like say a crocheted sweater or something, if you pull one piece of yarn, how everything goes, right? And in order to get it to re-normalize, you have to kind of move all the fabric back. Our fascia is very much like that. So if we get a fascial adhesion, a place where it's stuck, it can cause so many types of harm. An example that I have also of how it exists internally in between all the organs. It's like, you know, what holds things in place. Because if you think about it, there's no shelf inside, right? We've got the diaphragm's kind of a shelf, but you know, we've got our lungs and diaphragm and stomach and intestines and kidneys and all of that. And they all innervate, of course, with the spine, but they also have layer of fascia that helps kind of hold and secure them. And those kind of fascial planes run throughout the body. I don't know a ton about it, but I know someone currently who had to have abdominal surgery because they had some cysts on their ovaries and so on. And the surgery went very well, and they were pain-free for a while, and now they're having pain again. And upon them doing an MRI, are finding out there's scarring and adhesions between their ovaries, uterus, and bladder. So they're saying they're going to have to go in and do surgery again. So not great, right? So yoga is really profound to me because we aren't just stretching in one plane. You know, we're not like, okay, I'm going to stretch point A to point B, whoop-de-doo. We're stretching more like that sweater or crocheted piece of fabric, web-like material that, again, is between skin and muscle and throughout the whole body. And as I mentioned, under the feet, where a lot of people struggle with plantar fasciitis, which basically is the itis means irritation, right? Bursitis, et cetera, right? Itis, irritation of the plantar fascia. Plantar fascia is the location of fascia on the bottom of your foot. The thing that many of you already know, because I know people have dealt with plantar fasciitis, is that often the pain that you're feeling in the foot is in part because of tension all the way up into the calf, the hamstring, and so on. The muscles themselves, but also the fascia. And so I find it really interesting to think about ways that we can relieve our body from chronic pain, but also just feeling kind of tight and sore and heavy in our body by releasing some of those fascial tensions. And I think compression is one really lovely way to do that. So we're going to be doing some ball rolling on the bottom of the foot. And then we're going to also be using it underneath the, we'll come to the side and below the sacral triangle in that kind of soft area just to the outside. So we're gonna start with the feet, and then we'll come back onto the mat and get into the butt area. But I wanted to just, you know, talk about that and encourage you to think of other ways you can even give the body compressive release. I'll give you an example. So I get really tight in my right IT band and down, you know, sometimes irritate my knee and so on, or my hip. And I'll, you know, use the massage gun. I've showed you guys that, and there's stretches you can do that help. But one of the things that helps me a lot is I'll just take the ball and I'll place it between the wall and my thigh. And I'll just even kind of lean into it. And so you have to kind of even play with what's the best way to do it. Bless you. Where do I move the ball to? Sometimes people will put the ball in a sock so that you can maintain better control over it. That would also allow you to place it here, for example, between the shoulder blade and spine, where almost everyone I know experiences a fair bit of tension. And then you can compress and lean against the wall. And then you can roll up and down as well. Again, holding the ball with a sock so that you have a little bit of control. So just planting the seed around this general concept of compression. And I know it's hard to do to yourself in general. And so that's why I'm wanting to offer these tools. And then to notice what that does for you. And, you know, it might be that you're just carrying so much stress and you really do need somebody else. You know, like Trent and I have each other to kind of just press on your shoulders or press down on your hips. And with your permission, you guys, I want to do a little bit of that today during practice. So if there's anybody who wants me to skip them, where you would prefer that I not come press on shoulders or hips, just give me a little wave right now so I know. And then, of course, if while I'm doing it, it doesn't feel great, you know, let me know. Oh, too hard or whatever it is. But usually people go, oh, it's like we're just a big bucket of tension, us human beings. And it's just such a relief to have that get kind of squeezed out. So we're going to have some fun with that. All right, I'm going to turn this little puppy off and we'll get into our ball rolling. Have fun.